story opens with a severely distressed and injured lion, usually a symbol of pride and power, desperately traversing unfamiliar, colder terrain. His labored breaths and obvious pain hint at a dire situation. He is clearly out of his element, in a region that feels more suited to bears. The central hook is the mystery of why a lion is so far from his natural habitat, and in such a state that he would seek help from a creature typically not found in his world. The lion, weakened and desperate, finally encounters a massive grizzly bear. The initial interaction is fraught with tension and misunderstanding. The grizzly is initially hostile or wary of the strange feline intruder in his territory. The lion's pride makes it difficult for him to vocalize his need, creating an internal conflict as well. The external conflict is the inherent danger of a predator approaching another, especially when one is vulnerable. The lion, through pained words and perhaps visual cues, manages to convey the gravity of his situation. We learn that his pride back in his homeland is facing a catastrophic threat, perhaps a raging wildfire, a deadly disease, or a takeover by a rival coalition of lions led by an exceptionally formidable and cruel male. The lion himself might have been injured during an attempt to defend his pride or while seeking help. The conflict intensifies as the grizzly remains skeptical, but starts to recognize the genuine desperation in the lion's demeanor, the lion's sincerity, and the undeniable evidence of his suffering. Visible wounds, exhaustion, slowly begin to sway. The grizzly, perhaps driven by an unexpected sense of empathy or a curiosity about this unusual creature's plight, cautiously agrees to listen further. There might be a smaller act of kindness from the grizzly, sharing food or allowing the lion to rest, that starts to build a fragile trust. The suspense builds around whether the grizzly will truly help and how two such different animals could possibly overcome the obstacles ahead. The journey and the challenge. The grizzly, having been convinced of the severity of the lion's predicament, agrees to an arduous journey to the lion's homeland. This journey presents numerous challenges due to the vastly different physical capabilities and environmental tolerances of the two animals. They might face harsh weather, difficult terrain, and encounters with other wildlife who are equally surprised and potentially hostile to this unlikely duo. The climax could involve a direct confrontation with the threat facing the lion's pride, a fierce battle against the rival lions, a desperate attempt to escape the wildfire, or a struggle to find a cure or safe haven from the disease. Grizzly's unique strengths and the lion's knowledge of his territory would both play crucial roles. The aftermath and the bond. Following the resolution of the primary conflict, the story explores the immediate aftermath. Perhaps the lion's pride is saved, or a portion of it finds refuge. The interaction between the lion and the grizzly changes. A bond of respect and perhaps even a unique form of friendship develops between them, forged in the crucible of shared danger and adversity. There might be a moment where they understand the profound differences in their worlds, but appreciate the unexpected connection they have formed. The grizzly, his task complete, prepares to return to his own territory. There is a poignant farewell between the two unlikely allies. The lion, now with his pride, or what remains of it, watches the massive bear depart, forever changed by the grizzly's selfless act. The resolution emphasizes the theme of unexpected alliances and the universal nature of compassion and courage, transcending species and habitat. The story concludes with a reflection on the extraordinary event and its lasting impact on both the lion and the grizzly. Initially depicted as a proud and powerful male, now humbled by desperation and injury. His mane might be matted and dusty, his eyes holding a mixture of pain and a flicker of his former regal bearing. He speaks with a tone that still carries authority, but is now laced with a pleading urgency. He is fiercely loyal to his pride and haunted by his inability to protect them alone. He is unfamiliar with the colder climate and the terrain, making his journey even more arduous. a solitary and territorial male, powerful and wary of strangers. He is massive in size with thick, dark fur. His initial demeanor is gruff and intimidating, his growls conveying suspicion. However, beneath his tough exterior, there might be a sense of fairness or a hidden empathy that is slowly revealed as he observes the lion's genuine distress. He is strong, resourceful in his environment, and possesses a quiet wisdom born from surviving in the wilderness. He might communicate more through actions and grunts than eloquent speech. We see a large male lion, Leo, moving with difficulty across the uneven terrain. His once magnificent mane is matted with dirt and what appears to be dried blood. He favors one of his front legs, each step a visible effort. He is clearly out of his element. His paws slip occasionally on loose stones, and he shivers despite his thick fur. The landscape around him is alien. The sharp scent of pine is unfamiliar, and the chill in the air bites at him in a way the warm savanna never did. Leo pauses, his chest heaving. He looks around, his golden eyes scanning the unfamiliar woods. There's a desperation in his gaze, a stark contrast to the proud, confident posture he would normally hold. He lets out a low, guttural groan, a sound more of anguish than a roar. He continues his arduous journey, pushing through thick undergrowth, his powerful body now weakened and weary. He stumbles upon a small stream and drinks deeply, the cold water seeming to jolt him slightly. As he drinks, he remains alert, his ears twitching, listening for any sound in the unfamiliar forest. Suddenly, a deep, resonant grunt echoes through the trees. Leo freezes, his body tensing despite his pain. His eyes dart around, trying to locate the source of the sound. It's a sound unlike any he has heard on the savanna, heavier, deeper, more guttural. Another grunt, closer this time, followed by the snapping of branches. Leo, fear mixed with a desperate sliver of hope, pulls himself behind a large boulder, his heart pounding. He peers out cautiously. Through the trees, a colossal figure emerges. Gris, a massive grizzly bear, his dark fur thick and shaggy, ambles into a small clearing. He is immense, his powerful muscles rippling beneath his coat. He sniffs the air, his keen senses picking up the unfamiliar scent of the lion. Gris stops, his small, dark eyes narrowing as he catches sight of Leo partially concealed behind the boulder. A low growl rumbles in his chest, a clear warning to the intruder. Leo's breath catches in his throat. This is it. He had heard tales, whispered among the few traveling creatures who had ventured far north, of the giant bears of the cold lands. He had hoped to avoid an encounter, but his desperate need had driven him into their territory. He slowly, painfully emerges from behind the boulder, his head lowered slightly in a gesture that is both submission and a display of his weakened state. He keeps his distance, his eyes fixed on the massive grizzly. Gris remains still, observing the strange feline. He has never seen a creature like this before. The tawny fur, the impressive mane, albeit currently bedraggled. The lithe build that speaks of a different kind of power. His initial hostility remains, but there is also a flicker of curiosity in his gaze. Leo takes a hesitant step forward, then another. He tries to speak, but only a weak, raspy sound escapes his throat. He coughs, wincing in pain. Finally, in a voice strained and hoarse, a voice that once commanded the savanna but now barely a plea, Leo manages to utter a single desperate sentence. "Great Bear, I beg for your help." The grizzly stares at him, his expression unreadable. The silence that hangs between them is thick with tension and the weight of the unlikely encounter. The hook is set. The conflict has begun. The emotion, the lion's desperation and the grizzly's wary intrigue, hangs heavy in the crisp Cold air. This opening scene establishes the core premise and introduces the central characters and the initial conflict. It also hints at the desperation driving the lion, setting the stage for the unfolding story.